Hello, everybody, and welcome back to an episode of Astrological Intentions. It is episode 92 and April 27th here in Evanston. So I am your host, Alex Reevy, along with the productive Plutonian herself, Sandy Reevy. Say
hi, Alex. That is one thing I wait for every week to hear what my new title is.
It is your little surprise I have for you. So let's get right into it. We have Monday, April 27th, Mercury in Taurus.
Mean what you say.
Tuesday, April 28th, Mercury square Saturn.
Understand limitations.
Thursday, April 30th, Mercury conjunct Uranus.
Uptick in tempo or Wild Nights by John Cougar Mellencamp.
And Sunday, May 3rd, Venus square Neptune.
Inspired imagination.
Then we have some talisman times that Sandy has finished up. And don't forget to click the links in this description because they are all live. Those include to accumulate all goods, spiritual and material, to find success in seeking a favor, to receive goods from a mentor, to put love between two people, and one very special upcoming, to amass power and influence in a group. Then on the horizon, we have our Dr. Laura Berman Uncovered Radio coming to you. All you have to do is email for a slot. Then our CWS webinars are going to expire soon. So before April 30th, get online to our website and download all of those basic webinars. Then we have our community check-in April 29th, Venus in retrograde May 13th, and our CWS quarter 2 continued May 30th. Then in our house, Sandy and I are going to discuss our recent social media videos, our favorite ones, and our future plans for more. Stay tuned for this episode of Astrological Intentions.
You got the keys. You got the keys. You got the keys.
Hello again from the couch.
I know, and the fireplace. You know, spring always brings a chillness in the house.
Yeah. So, yeah, I think it's like the humidity and it's
the rainy, cold
and
outside.
It's the anticipation to know that it's going to be much warmer here soon where we're like sweating buckets. But yes, we're here with you. Thank you all for listening. We love you guys. Let me go direct to you all real quick. We did get a text message actually from Susan. She says, I love listening to your podcast. You two are seriously amazing. Sandy, you are so lucky to do what you do with your daughter, Alex.
Yay!
Thank you.
Yeah, it is true. And just like we've said here before, it's hilarious for me to listen to other mothers that have daughters that say, oh my gosh, I would give anything to work with my daughter. And then that same daughter that the mom is speaking about is looking over to you going, I could never work with my mother. So, you know, we appreciate when you recognize that we do work really well together, mother and daughter.
We really do.
Yeah.
But also it doesn't come without its challenges too. We need to look at each other very, respectfully and be patient with one another because we both work in different ways. And
yes,
but that's
even though we're both Pisces,
right?
Yeah.
I mean, but we're also coming from two different generations. You're the generation.
Thanks for reminding me.
You're the generation that's off the computer. I'm completely on the computer. So when I try to get all of our documents and our organization on the computer, it falls right off onto some paper. So
I mean, like right here, if you took a picture of us, which we probably should,
I'm on my computer
and I'm in my notebook.
Yep.
Always. It's always like that.
Right. And before every podcast, we need to go over our notes and you need to write anything down.
I've already written mine.
Right. And then I have to add the transits and things that I've missed on my end of the website or my end of the podcast. So anyway,
let's get into the transits.
Before we do, what? I want to extend a very special, this is a free offer to all of our podcast listeners. So we have been working on getting a astrology webinar library for you all, because everyone has been asking, how do I learn more about astrology? And even though like our podcast is just full of awesome ways for you to learn in the moment, it is really important to have the basics of, you know, what is the sign of Taurus, you know, and if it can't come to you, like if I say like, what is Taurus about? And you can't give me at least 3 main, you know, keywords, then we need you to work on that. So, so check yourself right now. If you can name, you know, the qualities of Taurus and all the different signs, you're good to go. However, if you can't, then we have a free offer for you and the ones who just want to, you know, go over and test their capabilities out anyway. But you head to our website, intentionbeads.com/CWS. And this is, if you scroll down, you'll see a full library link that you'll be transferred over to see all of our different webinars that we have recorded and are ready for download. If you use the code Learn Astrology, and it's all one word, Learn Astrology, while you're checking out all of those $10 webinars of the astrology basics, that's the fire signs, earth signs, air signs, and water signs, will be free. Tell your friends. This offer ends April 30th. So make sure you get this done.
Week.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, the free offer ends.
The free offer. And then they go back up to $10.
$10 a piece. Yeah. These are 30-minute Susan Goodell, financial astrologer, and I, which the CWS stands for Chatting with the Stars. We're starting a library. Every month we'll be putting on some new, you know, 101 astrology lessons so that you can come in and understand the podcast, understand some of our paid webinars.
Yeah. Even more so than the podcast.
Yeah.
You know, and what we do here is we try to keep it, you know, keep it going where you guys know that like weekly you can get a little bit of this astrology knowledge and this astrology wisdom, and stay current. I mean, that's what our podcast does. And these webinars are going to be so priceless for you. They are going to be downloadable. They're going to be available to you anytime you want.
Somebody did just download a free one.
Okay, so let's move on to the transits. We have Monday, April 27th, Mercury in Taurus.
So yeah, Mercury moves into Taurus, moves out of the fire sign that he was just in Aries, and now moves a little slower. So I titled that Mean What You Say and Say What You Mean. This is a slower paced thinking. You become more practical, more reliable. This is a good time to complete some of those projects, those tasks that, you know, you had the fire to start, and now you have the slowness and the sure-footedness to accomplish, to finish. So, yeah, just a slower pace thinking till the end of the month, the end of next month.
And that to me reminds me a lot of the phrase, you know, walk the walk and talk the talk. But here, the walk and the talk are going to be at a slower, steadier pace, you know, really maintaining, you know, posture and a steadied foot, you know, making sure that the ground beneath you is sturdy and your words have value and, you know, purpose and meaning behind them.
Well, and because if you are, which is, I've been saying all along that, you know, study, skill, practice, some sort of pulling in information, right?
Right.
To perfect something. Mercury in Taurus, because it is so plodding, it's so slow, that, you know, you would repeat, you would take more time reading. You would read one book. You would complete one subject, right? Because when it moves into the next sign after Taurus is Gemini, its own sign, which is actually mid-month of May. So we only have about 2 weeks here to really kind of go slow in whatever you're reading or finishing the longest project, the longest book, the longest subject class that you need to accomplish.
Okay. And then Tuesday, April 28th, Mercury is squaring Saturn.
So understand limitations. It's a square. So we know that squares are 90-degree angles. This is Mercury squaring Saturn. Saturn is the planet of self-control, discipline. And here, Mercury will see imperfections in your life, in your surroundings, and even within yourself, even by looking into the mirror. It's not a feel-good day, right? It's not a feel-good. It's a square. It's like you're going to pay attention to what's bothersome, and use this day for that. Look to see what's flawed. It's more important what you have to kind of control to fix it. Do you have control to fix something? I know some things are out of our control, but some things are within our discipline to fix.
Right. And especially when it comes to, our attitude, our self-care, our behavior, that is within our control, even though sometimes we love to give that up. We love just for someone to tell us, just to stay in quarantine for months. We still get that ability to really still create our lives just as if we were walking outside.
Yeah. And, this week is a lot about Mercury, because this is a lot of Mercury in the first Monday through Thursday aspects, because Mercury's, moving pretty fast here. Because, by Thursday, the 30th,
Mercury's conjunct Uranus.
Mercury moves into a conjunction with Uranus at 10:41 p.m. Now, so funny when I was writing this, which you're going to find out this whole month of May. Mm-hmm. You, Alex, and our listeners, I have been kind of recalling and listening to some old music. I'm kind of doing some throwbacks to when I was a teen or a little bit older than that. So when I was writing this, the song Wild Nights by John Cougar Mellencamp, who is one of my favorites down there.
Yes.
And Wild Nights because, Mercury conjunct Uranus, unexpected surprises. That happens at 10:41 p.m. So kind of like uptick in a tempo, Wild Nights. So it's like to be busy, that there's a restlessness, a nervousness, a sleeplessness, so that there's this, if you can't sleep that night, doesn't necessarily, really, what do you have to do the next day? That was so important, right? Kind of stay awake. Stay in this restlessness. Go outside. Literally, grab your pair of binoculars or your telescope, should you be lucky to have one of those, and watch the night sky.
And I think that's really cool because when we do have that nervousness, when, we can feel it in our hands and they're sweaty and, our breath is a little bit different and our mind is scattered, what a huge benefit is to really focus that energy somewhere, because what your body is telling you is that there's a ton of energy building up. Mm-hmm. It's there. It's in your hands. It's in your breath. It's in your mind, and it's all around.
It's in your nerves.
It's in your nerves. It wants to escape somehow. So how can we really direct that energy towards something? An idea, ding, ding, ding.
Yeah, an idea.
Go and check out the night sky.
Yeah, experiment with new ideas. And literally, by going outside and to be inspired to breathe in the unknown. Now, these night stars, which, some of I've been really into studying the night sky. I'll wait till we talk more about fixed stars. I've got them everywhere in my house as I study.
We'll probably make a webinar about it.
Yeah, we will. But they all have messages and they all have myths. So find a star this night and maybe you pay attention to it. Maybe I'll talk about it next week, which stars were in the Northern Hemisphere at whatever time in the morning. Mm-hmm. Because universe is asking us to see in a different way. And the Uranus, which does equate to astrology, and the stars and the planets are astrology. And let's kind of say here that the planets are considered wandering stars, that they were once fixed and they broke away and started to move. But they have the same mythology and archetypes as the fixed stars that don't move. They stay in position in those constellations.
And you were telling me just even a little bit about the fixed stars over dinner the other night. And these myths are so cool. I thought that I've, being around the, ancient wisdom of astrology, I thought I knew a lot of the myths. I know all of the signs. I know all of that. But there were some that you were telling me that I've never even heard before.
It's a whole wonderment.
Cool.
Yeah.
So excited to share. Okay.
Yeah. So anyway, this would just be a good night because, you're not going to be sleeping very good. And I wouldn't suggest to take a, overdose of sleeping pills or, an extra sleeping pill to sleep, because it's just not, your body does not want to sleep. It wants to be in the aha moments. So,
So Sunday, May 3rd, Venus square Neptune.
So here we go. Venus is making the first of 3 conjunctions from here, May 3rd, all the way through July 26th. Now, this is a long time for this Venus to square. Now, this is a square to Neptune. This happens at 10:52 p.m. I call this inspired imagination. So here's how this goes. Because Venus is about to retrograde in about 10 days from this point. So she's going to a retrograde cycle on May 13th. So she's going to cross over this aspect with Neptune 3 times over this period. Okay, I already said that. All right. So what I'm asking you to do, and, sometimes I give you a little homework, but, what else are you going to do? Write your love story, right? Venus is our relationships,
right,
our love, what we desire, our art, our creativity. It's what aesthetically we consider appropriate and as our stylist, right? Venus is one of the attendants to the sun.
Yes.
As is Mercury. Mercury we know is the messenger of the sun, and Venus is the styler, the stylist, the aesthetic of the sun. And so, by writing this love story, whether it's real or imaginary, Neptune doesn't care.
Right.
Right? We can live in fantasy of these stories we were told as little girls or little boys. So tap into that intuitive mind, because vision who you want to be. What role do you play in your love story? And maybe it's yours that's embellished.
Yeah, just like a fairy
tale. Or it's the
tale.
almost one that you had that something happened and it's the one that never happened. Because I'm going to put you from now until July 26th on a love story inspired path.
Oh, I love it.
So I'll be giving you cues as we move through this on the podcast throughout, when to read it, when to write, when to change your writing. And then we're going to have this writing, the story, at the end of July.
Yes, I'm really excited about that. Oh my gosh. Okay. So, well, because I've been working on a scrapbook. So with pictures and stories and, embellishments, and I'm not a scrapbooker, but I feel like it was actually a Christmas gift from Rocco, my boyfriend, and it's this beautifully leather-bound book. And when I was kind of opening up this present, I was like, "Oh, cool, a journal." And he's like, "Well, no, it's not a journal. Flip the first page."
You're wrong. Yeah.
And it was it was beautifully written, and it was a little poem that he wrote about the beginning of our love story. And he still had the little ticket of our first date. And it wasn't really a date at that point. But, yeah, so he printed out probably over 300 pictures that we've taken. Thank iPhones for all those opportunities. And yeah, so what we've been meaning to work on is getting a scrapbook together of all of our...
This is, again, creative imagination. You have something here waiting to go, oh, did you forget about me?
And it's so funny. It just sits right there. And every single time I look at it, I'm like, I need to get that out tonight.
Did you forget about me?
Right.
Right. So work on that. I'll give clues and cues as we go through this, Venus retrograde period.
Right.
Yeah. But also no, I'm not going to say that. I'm going to wait until we get to on the horizon. Anyway, next, Alex, what's in line?
So talisman times. You have finished up 4 talismans. And just as a quick note to all of our listeners, in the description, we are now going to be putting all of our talismans in the description as links. So if you click the intentions, you'll be directed straight to the website where you can check these out. Majority of them, if they have not been completed yet, the pictures are pending. So you'll be able to see what they're like. However, our pre-sale talismans can be ordered ahead of time. And that's when you can really be there during the creation of this bracelet and be a part of it all.
Well,
so,
I'll contact you. If you purchase a pre-sale, because I put them up, as soon as I come up with them, they go up on the website. It's already happened last week. Right. And if you're interested in that, then I contact you. I mean, you buy it. Mm-hmm. And then I get the notification, email you, and give you more information on being in the sacred space exactly at the time I am, and to repeat certain words. So, yes. And it's a
really cool opportunity.
It's a personal connection.
And throughout the whole processes, and you've been, doing this with your personal talismans that are made specifically for these people. But in the meditation that you're doing, we've gotten feedback like, I saw these bright lights. I had this vision. I could feel, like my body in movement, even though I was sitting still.
My favorite was a gate. A fenced gate. She had gone outside because it was during the day, and the gate blew open from the latch.
Whoa.
During the meditation. So she got the clear vision of the door is open.
Oh my gosh, I love that. Yeah, I don't think you told me that.
Oh yeah, that happened. And I've been following, of course, she's one of the tribal members, and amazing work she's doing. Amazing.
So cool. All right. And, okay, so let's begin. Friday, April 24th, this is a finished talisman to accumulate all goods, spiritual and material.
Yes, I made this at 6:31 a.m. on Friday when Jupiter was at the midheaven at 26 degrees of Capricorn and was in the 3rd decan of Capricorn, which is to accumulate many important achievements. So the heavens bless upon me many achievements. I pursue those that are important to me. All these worldly riches sustain me.
Yes. And we discussed this one last week, but I really love that because it is, you have this like kind of dynamicness of this collection where, these goods, these like values that you're kind of creating are both in this material world, but they're also in the metaphysical world.
Mm-hmm. And I made a small bracelet. So they're small beads and they're brown and blue. And it's the small beads that can be worn by anyone, including men, including that masculine, because I really don't see, I've got maybe 1 or 2 people of the masculine gender wearing the large bead with the crystal, the Swarovski crystals,
right? But
not many. But this one I made with the small beads because I just got inspired to make it with the...
Right. And even, like a lot of women enjoy the smaller beads, and I wear them both.
Yeah, me too.
So, okay. Saturday, April 25th, to find success in seeking a favor.
So this was, yes, I did this at 7:09 in the morning. It was, I am influential in my requests granted where I receive good things from my superiors. I did make a large bead with the Swarovski crystal. It's mostly pinks. I got this from the Picatrix, which is the ancient book of magic. So this is for finding success in seeking a favor. This would be asking permission for a loan, or even like a daughter parent kind of thing, a child parent asking for
a dog
or keys to the car or something. But asking for a raise, asking for a promotion.
Right. And what we discussed last week too is that, you know, your superior, whoever you're asking this favor from, your partner, your, you know, friend, won't know that you want this unless you ask. You know, like we have to get those big asks out there and not be ashamed of them, because it is something that we want. It is something that we'll be grateful for when we, you know, if they bestow that favor upon us. So, you know, sometimes people around us that love us and want to help us just need to know how.
Yeah. It's a favor. I'm asking, I wish success in seeking a favor.
Yes. And
I would love for you to bestow this upon me.
And we all know those people, and it's probably us included, that just say, you know, somebody says, hey, can I help you somehow? You're like, no, I got it. But you really kind of want help. You just don't know how to ask for it. So yeah, let's move on. So Saturday, April 25th, to receive goods from a mentor. And this one has a lot of similarity.
Well, yeah, because I did it just about an hour and 30 minutes later. This was at 8:53 a.m. Just as the rising sign was changing, but I got it before it did. That's what my goal was. To receive goods from a mentor. I so respect my teacher. I learn and am influenced with this knowledge and wisdom. I rise to meet eye to eye with my equal. Wow, right? Mm-hmm. Because it's like this is my mentor, my teacher.
Right.
But after gaining all of the information, wisdom, teachings, respect, everything that you can now rise up and look at them eye to eye as equals.
And as a peer. Yeah.
As a peer.
Yeah, I love that one. And so Sunday.
And actually, I made that a small bead. Mm-hmm. So that's also in kind of a yellow mustard color, which is, you know, mustard is one of my favorite colors. So this could be possibly for a man.
Cool. And so I did peek at a couple of the talismans that you just finished. Mm-hmm. And one of them is this like, and maybe I don't even want to announce this on the podcast because they're like so beautiful. It's purple with like a little bit of cheetah print.
Oh, yeah.
So
yeah, that was the first one we just talked about.
To accumulate all good spiritual material.
That's that one.
Oh my gosh. I might need to reserve that one for myself because
we'll get onto the website, intentionbeads.com, and pre-buy it.
Okie dokie.
Yeah.
So the next one is Sunday, April 26th, to put love between two people.
Right. Again, this is writings from the Picatrix. Literally writings right from the Picatrix. This writing is 2,000 years old. Mm-hmm. To put love between two people. I bring together you and me. Place between us love and friendship. Right. You know, writing 2,000 years ago was very direct.
Yeah.
Yet very kind of inverse. Like adjectives might be afterwards. Things words are capitalized when you'd think that they would be small lettered. Mm-hmm. It's sometimes interesting and difficult to read it. But yeah, I bring together you and me. Place between us love and friendship. And this is a large bead. I made a large bead with the crystals on this one.
And I like this one a lot because to put or to place love is almost like kind of sometimes I don't think we necessarily realize what we are putting between two people, like in our relationships, mm-hmm. because we lose sight of that connection. So for instance, like if we're angry with somebody, it's like, it's all about how we feel and what's going on with us, that we forget that we are putting whatever those anger filled emotions are, we're putting that and we're placing that between the relationship. And so I just think that that's really cool words, the way that they say to put love, to place
between
love
us.
between, yes.
Love and friendship.
Right. So it's kind of like an offering. You're placing it there in hopes that it's
also for reconciliation. Should that need, after that little emotional flare up that you had, that you stuck that wedge in between your relationship, right? So you can place now friendship in love. Yeah.
Yes.
I often, my pick of tricks is sitting right over here. It's one of my books that are sitting in one of my reading areas.
Yeah. And so your upcoming talisman, you have one, is Saturday, May 2nd, to amass power and influence in a group.
Yeah, so this is the moon in an earth sign in a trine to Mercury and the sun in the second decade. So I find status, prestige, and reward when I respect and am grateful to others. We build together. So this is about kind of building, crafting, sewing, kind of protecting what you have constructed. So to be, to find status, prestige, reward when you respect and are grateful to others and you build something together.
And so you said the moon
and Mercury and the sun.
And the sun. Okay, interesting. And then they're all in earth signs?
They're all in earth signs.
Because they're trine.
Yeah.
Ah, cool. Okay, interesting. And if anyone wants to know how I know that, the webinars were very helpful. Astrology Basic Signs. So on the horizon, April 30th, we have the Dr. Laura Berman Uncovered Radio. These are free consultations with your favorite astrologer, Sandy, and Dr. Laura Berman, who's a sex and relationship therapist. However, the topics don't end there. You can talk about career. You can talk about, life purpose. We had, I inserted in the podcast a couple weeks ago, just a little snippet about, a woman who was like, I'm investigating my life purpose.
And she was in her late 60s.
And that's wonderful.
She's going back and I said, you need to go to school. And she's like, I just enrolled in a higher education class. I'm like, rock on.
Yeah. And so we love this radio show. It's nationwide. And so if you have something that you want to, discuss with Sandy and Dr. Laura, this is a really awesome time because you can be helping so many other people with your question. So,
how do they get on for free?
So you can email now and guarantee a call if you email questions@uncoveredradio.com. And you just want to mention that you want to be on the episode with Sandy, the astrologer. So, next.
Come on with that. That is fun. And then you give us updates. You'll follow Dr. Laura Berman and I a couple months later and keep us updated. And, on the horizon, when I was writing this, it's like, I don't know why telescopes are kind of in my wheelhouse this week, but, it's kind of like we can't see where we're going yet, Alex. So we don't really know what's on our horizon. We have to look kind of far down the road, but we know what we're doing, on higher frequency of Zoom calls and webinars.
Right. And so, okay, everybody. So we said April 30th is the Dr. Laura Berman Uncovered Radio. Make sure to email before April 30th to make sure that you can claim your spot. And also ending April 30th is the CWS webinar free offer. So I discussed earlier in Going Direct that we have a coupon code for the website called Learn Astrology, and you get 4 of the Astrology Basic webinars. So these are the Fire, Earth, air, water signs. So we go into detail. So it's 2 hours all together where we're going
slides,
really in
videos,
depth into the zodiac signs. It's both Sandy and Susan. So you get both their kind of perspectives and their lessons that they've learned throughout their entire career as astrologers. So, of course, the link is in the description, and there's 4 different webinars that you're going to be looking for, and you can add all 4 of them to the cart, and you use one coupon code, Learn Astrology, and all of them will be free and downloaded onto your computer immediately. So do this now before April 30th. You will not regret it. This is an amazing opportunity to learn more about astrology.
And after April 30th, it's also available for $10 a piece.
Yeah, $10 a piece, and which is still an amazing offer. So yeah, but I just want to make sure that this is a key time. And even if you just want to dip your toe in and see how Sandy and Susan teach astrology, it's a really wonderful free opportunity to see if you guys vibe, if you jive, if you
thrive.
I love these. Okay. So,
talk about the community check-in.
Yes. So April 29th, this Wednesday, we have this CWS community check-in. The reason this is the take 2. This is the part 2 of it, because we did one, a couple weeks ago, and it was just so
enriching.
Good word. Thank you. So enriching, because everyone who showed up, and there were some even faces that we didn't know, and just everyone sharing from their quarantine space, their kind of like inner self, just to be there, to be witnessed, to discuss, to connect with people that, even if they are strangers, it's just like everyone here is kind of going through something similar.
But you asked a few questions. There were some questions that you could ask. So everybody took a turn to come up onto the screen and answer one of the questions. And we got to, share and listen and give people space. And then you ran a poll.
Yeah.
And then you gave the answers and the, qualifying results. And
I'm so curious.
And the last one that came in was sex. Apparently no one's having sex that was on our call. Right.
And that's funny too, because, Dr. Laura Berman talks a lot about, sex and how to have sex in quarantine. And, apparently there's been a lot of callers about that, because I'm sure it's a little bit different. You're kind of like together all the time. So, so anyway,
how do you get that spark, right? If you're not.
Right. Or also if you're in a long distance relationship or something. So May 13th, we have, for the CWS community check-in, you do have to register your spot, because I'm going to be sending you a private link for the Zoom meeting. So make sure to go onto Facebook, check, and reserve your spot. That's different from saying that you're interested in it. You need to click into the event and click register. You can invite as many friends as you'd like. You can be there with your entire family, but we just want everyone to be there to be engaged. So moving on, May 13th, we have the Venus retrograde in Gemini webinar. And this is a paid webinar. It's $20. This is where Sandy and Susan are teaching, the step up from the basics. These are kind of more of like a level 2, if you would, about current transits that are going on right now or in the near future, because we have Venus retrograde happening soon. We're in the shadow as of right now, which we've been discussing, in the last week. But, Mom, give us some, keywords of what people need to be aware of during a Venus retrograde and what they can learn at the webinar.
Well, just like we talked about today, we had our little Q2, take 2. Susan will talk about the money, the financial responsibility that Venus brings, because it does rule money. I will bring in the relationship part, the love, the art, the aesthetics, the beauty part of Venus. But when she retrogrades, which she does every 18 or so months, about once every year and a half, over an 8-year period, she retrogrades 5 times, in which that creates in that 8-year period that 5-pointed star, which is the golden ratio. We show videos. We'll have slides so that you can go back into your life and figure out what happened 8 years prior to this moment and reevaluate your self-worth, your own value systems, the way you look. Often Venus retrograde, when it starts moving forward after that retrograde period, you change the way you look. You might change your hair color or your makeup style or, flashy clothes from, wearing your jeans and your flannels.
Right.
Or reverse. So it's really important to pay attention what's going on inside you during the Venus retrograde.
And there is a way for people to personalize it a little bit where, if you pay an extra $5, you put in your birth data and Sandy will email you your chart with that Venus retrograde highlighted. Mm-hmm. And during the webinar, you're going to be able to at least pinpoint more of what's happening for you.
We'll talk about Venus retrograding through the first house, the second house, the third house, and all the 12 houses. And you'll look in your chart, should you have spent the extra $5, to see what house it's going through. If you want more information on that, you can later on that evening.
Right. Sign up for 1-on-2 talks.
Yeah.
So
for as small as a 15-minute slot.
Right.
For like $40, I think. Or get 2 15-minute slots. But we'll review, Susan and I both will review, take what we just taught you for that 1 hour and then drive it into your own natal chart. On a
right.
1-on-2.
And in accordance with the other planets as well, like anything that big that you're seeing as, these astrology eyes that you have. So, let's move on to the next 2 events that we have on the horizon. We have May 30th is the CWS Q2 continued. So these are the Facebook Live events that we've been doing. Normally they're just quarterly. However, this quarter we've been doing it once a month because we're all in quarterly quarantine.
QQQ.
So, of course, it's free. You can register and get all of your June dates during that Facebook Live, and it will be recorded as well. But it's so much better to be live, and you can ask questions and show those little heart emojis, and we love that. So join us live, please. And then our final on the horizon.
This is, NORWAC conference. It's my favorite astrology conference. That's every Memorial Day weekend in Seattle, Washington, is now going virtual, right? And Laura Nalbandian has figured out a way that if you already have your ticket, we're still doing it. We're going to be listening to all the classes and lectures, but as a vendor that I would have my booth set up, we're going to have a room where you can go in and shop. So you can get she had sold out the tickets, but now it's open because it's virtual.
Right.
So you can go on to the NORWAC astrology conference and get your ticket. And it's literally Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, probably 7 lectures every day.
Yeah. So that's going to, if someone's completely new to astrology,
they have tracks of beginner astrology.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
Are we talking ABCs of astrology, or they should at least know the signs already?
No, they have a beginner track, course, intermediate, and then advanced, and then even have, like really specific things that you might be interested versus which could be on a beginner scale.
Okay.
And you can go on to norwac.com right now and look at
check out the schedule
before you even sign up.
Yeah, perfect.
Yeah.
Okay, so moving on to our last segment, our house. So welcome in.
We're here. We're in our house. Come in.
And we're all quarantined up and very healthy and
happy,
doing our best with the COVID. I wanted to at least just jump in here and say that like it's been such a cool way to really expand the walls of this house, and show the different like corners of it in all of our social media, because it makes it bigger. It literally makes it bigger. And, when even before the social media posts, when how like when you're in a house and you're like, oh, that's just my house. It's like all one thing and it's like yawn boring. But the way that, we've been like putting up these little stages,
the little vignettes
in the house has really been expanding it. And it's been making me like see the different little parts of it all.
The advantages of what can be done in little tiny corners. Like, we right away, right after my birthday, when we went into the very first day of spring, we started these and we taught the signs, and now we're finishing up the planets. But are we going to do the houses? I don't know. What do you think? Should we? Let's hear from our viewers and our listeners.
So if you guys are interested, direct message us on Instagram. Of course, you should already know our handle, but if you haven't followed us yet, we are Intention Beads, all one word. So if you do want the houses, make sure let's put a number to it. If we get, should we say like 30? Mm-hmm. That's a pretty high number. 30. Let's say if we get 30 messages.
Is good, because if we're getting 200 views.
Yeah.
But they've they are like lowering in view.
Okay. So let's say if we get 30 direct messages from you all saying that you want the houses, we are going to do the houses. Then we're going to say you guys need to participate if you want more content, more free content.
Yeah.
So there's your challenge. But what was your favorite planet that you did?
Well, it hilariously was Neptune.
Oh, yeah.
Well, first of all, it wasn't my favorite. And, you've been recording these. I'm the player, right? I become the planet, and I move into a place in the house with some little props that I might, and trust me, they are in this house. I haven't certainly gone out anywhere to purchase anything, and finding things. And you can look around your house and find things that you need. Was the Neptune one. So I get my hair all wet. And, when I did Pisces, I got in the bathtub.
Right.
But this time we were like, we have to do this, this, and this. We don't have time for me getting in a bathtub. So I sat on the edge of it with my hair wet. And there was I had put on this robe that I bought in Bali, 4 years ago. And I have never worn this robe because it was going to be my robe that I left in the closet. And should I ever need this robe ever at any time, I would have, here's a robe for you.
Brand new with the tags on.
With the tags on it. So I'm like, this looks like Neptune. And I put it on, and you're like, there's a tag on it. And you came over and pulled the tag off. And I was like, no, I wanted the tag. It was this big, sticker label.
Yeah, it was a sticker label on the actual fabric. So you have to do much of a good job as you can to peel it off.
Leave it there. I've been leaving it on because it looks like it's brand new then, right? And when you pulled it off, you look at it and said,
check this out. I couldn't even believe it. All of a sudden, I'm looking down at this sticker that I pulled off. I nearly just threw it away, but I looked down at it and it was this beautiful green blue color. But then there were two tridents of the Neptune trident, the Little Mermaid dad trident. You know what I'm talking about. Two of those crisscrossed, and we are about to record Neptune. And I pull off this tag and I'm like, look at this. And it was just such a clear sign.
And like I said, that robe has been in my closet maybe 4 or 5 years, never worn, never taken off because I've never needed to use it.
Yes.
So I just felt that was my favorite planet. What was your favorite planet?
Man.
The one we're about to record right now?
Pluto? I don't know. I think it actually might be Mars, just because it's fun to see you on the Peloton. I love that. I mean, and you have been so dedicated, and I should just give you props right now. And if there's any other Peloton members out there listening, you know that it's so addicting. And my mom has reached her 50 cycles. She's now on 52 cycles.
Have not missed a day since
Have
I
not
got it.
missed one day, which I'm now battling the thought of like, is this a good thing or a bad thing?
I know, because
But it's amazing that, you know, your dedication, you know, right during this, it was a Mars transit that was happening, right?
Well, it was my solar return. I have Jupiter Mars sitting right on my ascendant in not on my ascendant, but in my solar return ascendant in Capricorn. And so I knew, I'm like, ooh, there's a lot of energy coming my way this year. How am I going to use it? I don't want it to attack me, right? I'd have to pay attention to that Jupiter Mars. I don't want to attack, so I have to find it within myself and to use it
to combat
on the external. And so when you had suggested, should we get a Peloton? I'm like, oh, that would help me with getting on the bike every morning and
without a doubt, you have.
Every day.
You get 50 claps. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Okay. But here's the thing. This is a good offer. There's got to be other Peloton users listening to this. You have titled me the astrologer.
Yes.
So let's be friends.
Oh my gosh, that would be so cool.
Yeah.
Okay, so
let's hold each other accountable.
Yes, that would be so cool. So follow the astrologer on Peloton.
Of course, I'm the 60s in Evanston, Illinois.
Yeah, you all can race. It'll be fun.
Limp.
Or limp. So that's all for our episode, everybody. Thank you so much for listening. We love you all. Make sure to share this podcast with your friends. We want to reach more people. We want to change more perspectives on astrology and have this be a practical tool for people to use. So if you wouldn't mind, we would love for you to keep sharing our wisdom and our weekly forecast that we bring to you every week. But until next week, we will see you in quarantine. Bye-bye.
Happy end of April.